Let's go.
Stoke City and Middlesbrough remain your two leaders over in the Championship with a perfect bloody record. That means 3 wins and a 3. Will they still be there heading into the international break? We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today is match day number 4 in the Championship with Stoke and Middlesbrough leading, of course, with an unbeaten 100% success rate in the league. Of course, will they be there at the end of match day number 4? We'll get into all of that and more in a second. If you're new, where have you been? Smash your subscribe, your sub shop for Blackburn Rovers Championship. Whoa, football, we're going to all hear under Warruski. Now, before we jump in the deep end of this coming weekend's action, I want to shout out to Match Bingo for sponsoring this part of the channel. Match Bingo is a great way to add a little bit of extra incentive to the weekend's drama by, of course, playing a bit of bingo, of course. I've been playing for the past couple of weeks and I got so close last weekend. There was an opportunity to win back my money and more. Goodness gracious me. Over £200,000 has been won. And, of course, you've got options to play matches across the top 5 divisions around Europe, as well as dipping into the Championship and beyond. So it's currently buy 4 get 1 free, and over £200,000 has been won so far. It's very simple. Basically, you buy your coupon, your ticket, and basically you get some scenarios within the ticket. And of course, if those scenarios come up, then of course you tick one off, just like you do in a bingo hall. And if you get 5 across the line first out of the competing party, then you win some money, and of course you have a chance to win a couple of occasions, 1 line, 2 line, full house, all that kind of jazz. So make sure to check it out. Link is in the description. It is a good bit of fun. Of course, let me know. I also want to let you know that it is only available in the UK. So get involved with it. And I'm so close. It was between me and 2 others. You know, there is opportunities to make a bit of cash in there. So in my next installment of that will be this weekend. So make sure you check that out. Get into it. And of course, look back at, of course, the previous matches, including Blackburn Rovers' a cheeky victory over Hull City. But we start with Pride Park as Derby County they managed to get a massive point in the end against Bristol City, 1-1 in the end. Charlton did lose at home to Leicester, 1-0. I went with a 2-1 win. Rovers did pick up a cheeky 3-0 win over Hull City. I went with a draw. Swansea with a draw against Watford. A big point at the bag for both sides there. Meanwhile, Birmingham City continued to win. I went with a 3-0, but it was a 1-0. Look at this, though. 7-0 win by Coventry over QPR with a 2-0 win. Norwich did lose at home to Borough, 2-1. I went with a 2-2. Preston with another win over Ipswich. I went with a 2-1, not too shabby. Sheffield United's season has been absolutely grim so far. 1-0 winners for Millwall. Southampton with a loss to high-flying Stoke. West Brom and Portsmouth with a draw as well. And then Wrexham and Sheffield Wednesday also duked it out to a 2-2 draw. The table, though, looks like this with Stoke and Borough perfect so far, with Coventry, the high scorers, with West Brom, Birmingham and Preston in the playoffs. Going down, the Blades, the Oxfords, the U's, I guess, and QPR. Goodness gracious me. But that could all change this coming match day, and we'll get into all that in a minute. Don't forget, we have the Prediction League. It is live. And of course, currently leading the charge. Who is it? Well, I'll show you. Sit back, hold on tight. We're going to get into the Super Brew and, of course, tell you who's winning. Alrighty then, folks. Kicking ass last weekend was Relina Peace, KGM Motow in second place, Clasherman, KP21, all in the top 2 or 3 there. Shepherd doing his business as well. I don't even know where I am. There I am. It just clocked me there. I got 5 points. Gosh, it doesn't feel that I got 5 points. Anyway, not great for me. Not good start for the Championship predictions, but I keep on going, guys. In fact, I'm not doing that well in the grand scheme of things in the leaderboard. I think I'm all the way down to 47th or something. So I need to turn it up and fast. The current leader, though, it is Zip03 with the coolest name in town. We've got Relena Peace up there alongside him, actually joined with 32.5. And then Xandus in third. Bruce on first, taking a tumble. A couple of big movers, though, a lot of shakers around. So we'll see how well they get on this time. So, of course, don't forget to get involved. It is 100% free. The link should be back on the screen right about now. So make sure you get involved, and I'll see your name in there in the leaderboard next week. Come on, guys, get involved. So, all right then, folks, get it all off this coming Friday night. It's Leicester, it's Birmingham, it's coming out to the King Power Stadium, of course. Martin Griffey enters. The boys are 7th right now with 6 points for the season. They won 3 and they lost 3 over the last 6 matches. Birmingham under Chris Davies also in the playoffs, sitting in 5th with 7 points and just 1 defeat in the last 6 in all comps. They played 21 times since 1993, 12 wins Leicester, 4 wins Birmingham. There's been 5 draws between the two sides. They last played in the Championship back in April 2024. It was a 2-1 win for Leicester, who of course have made it, 6 wins on the bounce in all shapes and all sizes against Birmingham. They're coming into this though on the back of that 1-0 of Charlton. Birmingham losing to Port Vale in the Cup. The odds right here right now, 11-8 is your Leicester, 50-8 is your Birmingham, 12-5 is the draw. Birmingham started great. I'm sure they're getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but I think Leicester quality will come out on top in the end. 2-0 winners for the former Premier League winners. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Borough as they take on Sheffield United, coming out at the Riverside, one of the early games on Saturday, 30th of August. Middlesbrough and Rob Edwards, they sit 2nd right now, 9 points of a possible 9. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 in all shapes. Meanwhile, the Blades coming at you with Ruben Sellers. They've lost 4 on the bounce, and they played Borough 22 times since 1994. 9 wins for Borough, 8 wins for Sheffield United. There's been 5 draws between the two sides. They last played at the Riverside, 1-0 winners it was for Middlesbrough, who are unbeaten over Sheffield United at Riverside in the last 3, picking up a couple of wins and a draw. In fact, 2 clean sheets in the last 3 matches against Sheffield United. They're coming into this on the back of that 2-1 win over Norwich. Sheffield United losing to Millwall at home. They've only scored 1 goal in the last 2 matches. Actually, 1 goal in the last 3 matches for Sheffield United. Coming into this one, though, Sheffield United are 9-4 for the victory. Middlesbrough 6-5. 12-5 is the draw. We are going with a 2-1 win for Borough to maintain a great start. QPR are next, and they're looking for a response, and a big one, as they take on Charlton in a bit of an all-London affair at Loftus Road. Julian Steffen's boys are 22nd with just a 1 point for the season up against Charlton and Nathan Jones. Back-to-back defeats for them coming into this, and they played QPR 17 times since 1996. 5 wins QPR, 8 wins for Charlton. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Loftus Road. It was a 2-2 scoreline way back in December 2019 in the Championship. Charlton, though, are unbeaten against QPR in the last 3. Just lost once against them in the last 6 in all shapes and sizes. QPR on the back of a 7-1 drubbing by Coventry. They haven't played, though, at home since the opening game of the season. There's been 3 away matches on the bounce. Charlton, of course, last match was an away defeat to Cambridge in a bit of a rude awakening there. The odds right here, right now, we've got 2-1 is your QPR, 11-8 is your Charlton, 9-4 is the draw. We're going to go with a 1-0 win for QPR. Next up, we go tabletoppers Stoke City as they take on West Brom. Come out at the Bet365 Stadium. Stoke and Mark Robbins, they sit top of the pops right now with 9 points of a possible 9. Up against West Brom under Ryan Mason, who sit 4th with 7 points out of a possible 9. They played 47 times since 1993. 23 wins for Stoke. We've got 12 wins for West Brom. There's been 12 draws between the two sides. They last played at the Bet365. 2-1 winners it was for West Brom back in August 2024. Around about this time last season. West Brom actually very tight between the two sides. Just 1 win. Actually 1 defeat against Stoke in the last 6. That was in the Cup. In the league, though, West Brom are unbeaten against Stoke in the last 5. Picking up a couple of wins and 3 draws. They're on the back of a draw themselves, West Brom. Stoke on the back of a loss to Bradford in the Cup, which could be a rude awakening for themselves. So can they bounce back and fast? 31-20 is your Stoke. 11-5 is the draw. 9-5 is your West Brom. I'm going with a 2-2 scoreline here. Another point in the bag for Stoke. I'm sure they'll take that all day long. Meanwhile, Rovers, they're up and actually against Norwich. Coming at you at Ewood Park. Big Val's boys are finally off the mark with a win. Taking on Norwich side, of course, also with 3 points. Both sides have 3 points in and around about the table, of course, and have played each other 28 times since 1993. 9 wins Norwich, 8 wins Rovers. There's been 11 draws between the two sides, including a 1-1 scoreline last time around at Ewood. In fact, the last 3 between the two sides have been draws, with Rovers winning the last match at Carrow Road back in November 2023. Coming into this, Rovers on the back of that 3 in a bit of a hull, and Norwich losing at home to Southampton. So back-to-back home wins for them. Their only victory has come on the road. Victories have come on the road where they beat Watford in the Cup and Portsmouth. The odds right here right now, Rovers are 13-10 for the victory. 2-1 is your Norwich. So looking at that, it does look like Rovers might have the edge with the bookies on this one, which is, of course, a scary old thing. I'm going with another one, a 1-1 draw, which will be fine for right now. Just get a bit of momentum going, and, of course, try and get the first points at Ewood Park. So that's what I'm going to swing it. 1-1 draw in the end. Bristol City up against Hull at Ashton Gate. Bristol City under Gerhard Struber are 9th right now, 5 points for the season. Up against Hull under Sergei Jakovic, who are 15th with 4 points for the season. Played each other 28 times since 2004. 10 wins Bristol City, 7 wins Hull. There's been 11 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Thrashton Gate. It was a 1-1 scoreline way back in March 2025. It's actually been back-to-back draws between the two sides. In fact, 3 of the last 4 have ended up all square at 1-1. Bristol City also coming into on the back of a 1-1, drawing with Derby. Hull losing to Rovers last time around at their own backyard. The odds for this one, 10-9 on is your Bristol City, 16-5 is your Hull, 12-5 is the draw. Yeah, I think Bristol City will have too much in the tank here at home. It's a intimidating place to go. They like it over there, so I think they'll win. 2-0 win. Ipswich Town against Derby coming at Portman Road. Ipswich under Kieran McKenna. Not a great start for them. Winners from the last 4. Up against Derby under John Eustace. Just 1 win in the last 5 matches themselves. They played 41 times since 1995. 22 wins for Ipswich, 11 wins for Derby. There's been 8 draws between the two sides. They last played at Portman Road. It was a 1-0 win for Ipswich back in October 2022. Ipswich had got back-to-back wins over Derby and unbeaten against them in the last 3. Derby, though, on the back of that 2-1 loss to Burnley. Ipswich losing to Preston this past weekend. And, of course, haven't had a victory all season in all shapes and sizes. 20-11 on is your Ipswich, 5-1 is your Derby, 29-10 is the draw. We've got to back Ipswich here. 3-1 win. Get themselves moving. Get, of course, their first W of the campaign. Moving forward, we go to high-flying Millwall as they take on Wrexham, of course, come at you. At the Den, that's right. Millwall under Alex Neil, 5 wins in the last 6 matches. They're 8th right now, 6 points for the season. Under Wrexham then, who are in 19th right now, with just 1 point, just 1 defeat in the last 4 in all shapes and sizes. They've never played each other, according to my data, these two sides. Wrexham on the back of that 3-2 extra, or late extra, sort of not extra time, injury time winner against Preston to send them through to the 3rd round of the Cup. Millwall also will join them after knocking out free-scoring Coventry this past weekend. The odds right here, right now, looking at it, the odds we have 6-5 on as your Millwall, 16-5 as your Wrexham, and 13-5 as the draw. Wrexham are not clicked into gear yet. They're spending a bit of money. They're spending a bit of money on sort of, some players that they're good, but they're spending a lot of money on these players. The small bones, who's the guy up top, the Broadsfield or whatever his name is. I just don't know at the moment about this Wrexham. They're spending cash on some youngish players which might be here for the future and all that kind of jazz, but ultimately I just don't know about Wrexham right now. They're not going to win this game either. I think Wrexham will lose this one. 1-0 win. Millwall take it to the bank. Meanwhile, Oxford United taking on Coventry. Coming at the Kazam, that's right. Oxford under Gary Rowett. They are 23rd right now, yet to pick up a point this season. 3 defeats in the last 4. I think it's Coventry under Frank Lampard sitting in 3rd with 7 points for the season. They played 12 times in 2015, 3 wins at Oxford, 7 wins Coventry. There's been 2 draws between the two sides. They last played over at the Kazam. It was a 3-2 win for Coventry. That was back in March 2025. Coventry have won 4 in the bounce against Oxford, unbeaten in the last 6. There's been goals in this. What are we looking at? 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 8, 10, 15, 19 goals between these two sides in the last 4 matches. So there's goals there, plenty here. Oxford, though, on the back of a back-to-back losses. 3 defeats on the spin for them in the league as well. Coventry on the back of that 7-1 win in the league, but they did lose to Millwall in the Cup. 10-3 is your Oxford, 5-4 on is your Coventry, 13-5 is the draw. Coventry look good right now. They do look good. 2-0 winners, and they're going to be competing to be top of the Pops heading into international break. So moving forward is Pompey against Preston in the battle of the Peas, coming at you over at Fratton Park. John Massinio's boys are 11th with 4 points for this season, up against Preston and Paul Heckingbottom, who are 5th with 7 points. They played 13 times since the year 2000. 3 wins Pompey, 6 wins Preston, 4 draws between the two sides. They last played at Fratton Park. 3-1 winners it was for Portsmouth back in November 2024. Preston on the back of that 3-2 loss to Wrexham. Last minute drama there. Pompey drawing with West Brom. I think a bit of last minute drama in that game also. The odds here, 6-5 is your Pompey, 9-4 is your Preston, 23-10 is the draw. Portsmouth, Pompey win this one 1-0. Preston taking a big fat L at about time, Spud Bros. Meanwhile, Sheffield Wednesday against Swansea coming at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday and Henriks Penderson, they are 21st with just the 1 point. Just 1 defeat in the last 4 matches. Up against Swansea and Alan Sheehan, unbeaten in the last 4. They sit 13th with 4 points. They played 16 times in 2008. 2 wins Wednesday, 6 wins Swansea. 8 draws between the two sides. They last played over at Hillsborough. 0-0 draw it was. In fact, it's been back-to-back draws at Hillsborough between these two sides. Coming at you over the last 3, Swansea unbeaten against Sheffield Wednesday in the last 3 at this venue. Sheffield Wednesday, they're picking up a penalty shootout victory over Premier League Leeds. Swansea City also getting a victory via penalties over Plymouth, both in the Cup, both into round 3. 23-10 is your Sheffield Wednesday, 6-5 is your Swansea, 23-10 is the draw. I'm going to go Wednesday on this one. 2-1 win. Tails are up. Big boost this past midweek. And they go again. Meanwhile, Watford taking on Southampton, coming at Vicarage Road to complete the pack here in the Championship. Matt Paolo Polosino's boys are 11th. Unbeaten the last 2 matches. Up against Southampton and Will still just 1 win in the last 3. They're 10th with 4 points for the season. They played 29 times since 1999. 9 wins Watford, 12 wins Southampton, 8 draws between the two sides. They last played at Vicarage Road in the league. 1-1 scoreline back in December 2023. Coming into this, Watford are on the back of a draw away to Swansea. Southampton on the back of a 3-0 win away to Norwich in the Cup. The odds, 21-10 is your Watford, 5-4 is Southampton, 23-10. The draw here, guys. We're going to go with a 2-0. Southampton, big win, will still moving the chains. And, of course, it will be Coventry and Borough in the top 2. Stoke, Leicester, Millwall and Bristol City in the playoffs. Going down, Derby, Oxford and Sheffield United. Love to see it. Love to see it. Don't forget the prediction league, guys. It is, of course, open. It's free. Get your name in there. Of course, I'll see who is kicking ass and taking names later on. But that, my friends, is what I've got for you. Until then, subscribe, smash like. I'll see you soon when we return under.